Welcome. We're going to start the practice just by taking some time to set up your space. So you can either do this practice lying down or sitting really comfortably. And if you're already set up, I want to give you an opportunity to just take this time to stretch and just, feel into your body in some way. Maybe have some tea. You can, just put your hands on your arms and just see what it's like to just start gently connecting to your body. This is going to be a blessing for your body. And so give yourself a little time if you want to stretch or you want to move to just prepare yourself to receive. Okay, so we'll get started. Welcome. Like I said, this is a blessing for your body. So I am going to guide you through the practice, but the practice is really between you and the great goddess, the great mystery, the earth mother that reverberates with this power to transform and transmute in the same way that the Kundalini Shakti, the energy in your body, reverberates, right? Many of you know that the Kundalini Shakti is often represented by a snake. And when you think about the reverberations of a snake and the ways that a snake moves, right? And you think about the energetics of it, it's, a symbol, but it's also, you could say a living being, the same way an actual snake is. The same way that Lakshmi in this practice today, we're connecting to the field of consciousness, the goddess that is Lakshmi. You can say that these are living beings, right? And just because we can't see something with our physical eyes doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, right? Doesn't mean it's not a living being that's breathing, that's pulsing, that's giving energy. And so what we're doing in Tantra oftentimes is connecting to the unseen and allowing ourselves to be nurtured and held and healed by that great power that's within. And so as the Kundalini awakens and it moves, it goes up, it also descends right down, that there are ways that our internal experience starts to shift and our psychic powers awaken, our, ability to perceive the unseen gets heightened. And because many of us were brought up and raised in cultures that didn't affirm and acknowledge these as gifts, we have digested a lot of our experience as fear. And so, oftentimes very sensitive, highly sensitive people like yourselves have a lot of fear. And so I really find that, the energy of Lakshmi really helps to support in the transmutation of the fear that was really never ours to begin with. It comes from a lot of, patriarchal conditioning that to leave the body and to leave the field, leave your field, leave our field, right? So that's part of my intention. And I would love for you, before we get into the meditation and the energy healing practice, for you to just write down what your intention is. Like, what is something that the greatest power on earth, that is love as a frequency, if you could ask anything of her today in this moment, what would it be? What would your prayer be? And you could dance between the personal and the collective in terms of the prayer. It's always good to do that. As we know, we're interconnected with all beings, with all things, and all humans and everything in existence. We have, threads and webs that were connected. So give yourself a couple minutes and just write down, what is your request? What is your prayer? What is the healing that you're craving, both for yourself, but also for the collective? I'll say one more thing. This is also a good time to, like, what is your, if you're obviously on a spiritual path, that's part of why you're here. What, maybe this is a good time to revisit what your own intentions or goals are for your spiritual path. Like, why are you devoting your time, to being in this space and to being in the spaces you're in? Our intentions are forever deepening as our experiences are forever changing and shifting. This is the feminine, right? The feminine is not just that static, ever present force. She is change. She is, the transformation. She is everything that is possible beyond our experience up until now, right? So just give yourself some time to just muse on this question. What is your prayer to Lakshmi, to this field of consciousness that is unconditional love, the great oceanic being? Lakshmi was churned up from the ocean, right? So she has this Venusian energy, this beauty as an energy, this worth that is infinite, that sustains us, right? She is the sustaining force of the universe. So it's a really needed energy that we're connecting to at this time. Okay, I'll pause so you can take a couple minutes to write down your own prayer and intention or desire or desperate call or empowered gratitude, however your prayer is coming forth today. And it could be as specific or as vague as you'd like, but let it just be really honest, whatever it is. And you can just take another half a minute or so. And then just put in the chat just a word or a sentence or something that, just kind of captures where you are and what you're bringing into the space. Just something honest is enough. Okay, so I'll just read some of these out loud. Thank you for popping them in. The power of love, collective liberation, peace of God, source, peace, rooted in truth, a leadership of love, to find freedom and full expression within myself. I trust I'll be held if I walk the path, even if it means loss. Help each other find a way back to love for healing. Thank you, Mira. That my fear and the fear that lives in all of us can feel so held and be able to accept and trust ease as a sustainable blessing. Thank you, Molly. Praying for collective freedom from oppression in all its forms. Thank you, Carly. I almost called you Carly. I spoke my truth. I don't know how it will be received. I spoke my truth, and I don't know how it will be received. Bravery to be true to myself and higher love. Thank you. Nicole Blaze said, my soul aches to love freely and deeply. I'm asking for continued healing of my attachment system so I can experience this wild love and offer it securely to others. Beautiful. Thank you. Heather, my prayer is to listen without a storyline and connect to the power of love itself without judgment, while being very close to my deepest suffering with kindness, not harm. Beautiful. Thank you, Heather. Sarah, softening, trust, surrender, hope, grace, love. Beautiful. So let's have everyone that's here, just put in, even if it's just one word, because this is a collective, we're always in this work moving from our individual into the collective. And that's just the dance anyway, of moving from our own, coming back home to ourselves and who we are separate from everything around us, and, learning how to relate from that place back into, I'm saying the collective more so because, we're online, right? So it's like this is a portal to relating to the collective, because you're relating to other human beings that are here in this moment, but it's like, you can't even really see each other, and in this practice, it's really just for you. So I'm not, doing too much. A lot of times in our spaces, we're really engaging with one another and, cameras on and things like that. But today, this is just a prayer and a blessing for you and your body, but just to bring us, together into this space and to take you out of your own just internal process for a moment to kind of seed something into this space. So it's a collective effort. And then, to go back in. And the meditation will be around 15 minutes or so. So just so you have a sense of, my intention is homecoming, prayers for consciousness. Thank you. To live in loving community. Thank you, Jane. To allow love channeling to move through me, to feel love and joy and connection without hitting a capacity limit. Thank you, Bree, for that prayer. Liberation from conditioning on a collective level, liberation from suffering. Thank you for these prayers, guidance and loving support through courageousness and reclaiming the unapologetic truth of my nature. Beautiful. Forgiveness. Thank you, Rochelle. Surrendering into trust that all my past mistakes led me to the lessons I needed to deliver me to my purpose. Yeah, I feel a lot of tenderness in that one. It's definitely an internal prayer over here. So thank you for naming it. Softness. Thank you, Marina. Invoking love to help with transcending ego-created unhelpful energy. Beautiful. Thank you, Todd. Okay, just give one more moment for anyone that's here to just, offer your blessing out into the group as a practice, as an intention. Harshita said hi. He's here. He's going to soccer practice. Well, his kid's soccer practice. He's not doing soccer.
Hi, it's Liz. I'm driving, so I can't type right now, but I wanted to say that my prayer is for collective liberation for every being on the planet.
Thank you. Yeah, if you need to
Hi,
unmute, you can.
I'm sorry.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Zai Bell from Charlotte, North Carolina, the Bible Belt. And I'm originally from DC, though. Originally from DC. I believe a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I do believe in literacy, energetic literacy as well. I just wanted to ask, ma'am, they don't believe that here in the Bible Belt. That's why I have to emphasize that. But I need divine intervention, divine governance, divine shielding, divine recompensation, divine rejuvenation, because I want to be able to stay in my sacred soul sovereignty no matter where I am. It's very hard it's very easy to be enlightened in Bali and in Dubai, but in where I am, it's very difficult to keep your frequency high. And so I really need to stay sovereign as much as possible, have that divine intervention to remind me that I always have the choice to stay in my body and keep the sunlight in my soul no matter what's going on.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah. Amen. I love what you said to have the choice, to stay in my body and to stay in that and to the prayer for divine rejuvenation and intervention and just the truth and the frequency of what you're sharing. So thank you. Yes, divine shielding and compensation. Beautiful. It's very much the frequency and in the tantric tradition of
divine justice too, please.
Yes, divine justice too, please. Thank you. Yes. I love that you use the word choice. I just, wrote some of what you said in the chat because so much of I feel what when we work in Tantra, experiencing God, allowing ourselves to open to the experience of God as something that is within, a power within us, as opposed to a power over something. This is part of the shift that we make in Tantra. There is so much over time, in my experience, so much choice that does get cultivated. So thank you for bringing that into the room and bringing your the power of your words and your voice and your prayer. So thank you. And yeah, if anyone else wants to unmute before we start, because I know sometimes typing and just to speak the prayer into the space, I'll give another moment. Tanya said, trust, self-love, and healing for all of life. I have a whole story about the Bible Belt. I'm not going to tell it now, but I'll tell it some other time. I went on a whole healing journey in the Bible Belt one time when I was teaching there, but I'm not going to tell the story now because I'm keeping this just the practice today, but some other time, if you want to hear it, I'll tell you. To have the courage to turn and face the pain in my body that I'm running from. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah. There's this opening that I feel a lot of times with the energy of Lakshmi into grief and grieving, and the connection between grief and grieving and loss and love. The ways that those two are oftentimes intertwined, or that one takes us to the other, in cycles. And restorative justice, as the deeper threads of love, meaning, the ways that in certain places and times, there are these opportunities for the restoration, of justice, and the ways that that happens within us, and the ways that I think each of us in our own unique, personalities and lives and set of privileges have, to offer and extend out into the world in different ways. And, some of the most generous and wealthy experiences I've had, because Lakshmi is also about wealth, right? And we can look at it in this material wealth way, but as we all know, the material is only one layer of our experience, right? And so wealth, whether it's, material, if it's not rooted in generosity of spirit, if it's not rooted in wealth on an inner level, it only causes more suffering. And it only causes, well, I mean, that's not, I'm saying something very direct and kind of extreme, but that is what I believe, actually. So just going to say it only causes, more of the same lack, right? And so anything in the material reality, whether we're talking about money or relationships, right? They either take us to that root of unworthiness and lack inside, or they mirror and reflect back the truth of our wholeness and who we are, and the remembrance of who we've been, and there's a restoration, of the kind of justice, meaning the love and the connection and the acknowledgement and the care and the respect that every human being and every living being, on planet Earth deserves. There is a restoration of that happens when we open our hearts to allowing Goddess in. And that feels and looks different for everybody in different moments. Sometimes it's just showing up in a space like this and letting our bodies be blessed because we're going through something so difficult physically that we can't even imagine that. We can't imagine. This isn't like this isn't a patriarchal spirituality where you have to get it. It's an invitation to receiving right where you are. And that right where you are is the right place to receive the blessing of your own divinity, the blessing of Mother Earth's gracious bounty, right? Of, all of the essence of life and what gives life and what sustains life through reciprocity, right? That we're not just taking, but that we're also showing up to give. And, this is such a deep practice, as I know that you all know based on what you shared in the chat and what some of you shared with your voices. So thank you. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So you can, obviously, if you're driving, don't close your eyes or lie down. And you could receive this, however you are and wherever you are. Well, like I said, it'll be like 15 minutes or so. And I'm going to tell you the mantra that we're going to work with, but I want you just to get yourself set up. So you can either lie down, or you can find a comfortable seat. You don't have to sit up really straight and tall for this. Like if you're sitting, I want you to like really lean back, because this is a somatic meditation, meaning that we're working with the body and we're working with the energy of the body. So prepare your body just by finding somewhere really comfortable and really like feeling into it. Like rub your back against whatever you're sitting on, or set yourself up so you could sit with your back against a wall. So your head, if you can, try and get your head to lean against something. So you're not, so your head can rest back. So make sure as we come into welcoming your body, your heart, your mind, your soul into this space to receive this blessing, that you're really comfortable. So take a few deeper breaths and really just let your body stretch, move around in your head and your neck. Look and turn your head side to side, stretch your arms, wiggle around through your toes, move your hips side to side. You can also imagine any kind of movement. If your body's not physically able to move for any reason, you can imagine it. And when you imagine movement, it will take you to different channels in your body, like emotions or sensations that are physical in some other way, or images, right? So just take a moment, take a minute here and just move your body a little bit and let yourself just kind of wiggle around. And instead of getting still right away, let yourself actually move through your wrists, your ankles, your hips, your head, your neck, and just let the movement start invoking the prayer in a deeper level, invoking your helpful ancestors, invoking the guides and the angels and the beings that are surrounding you in your soul's journey, that are in the unseen, that are here to sustain and support and give energy and give the breath of life into you in moments when you feel depleted, in moments when you have felt hopeless, right? The grace that has come in. Let your movement just start to evoke some of that. And you can move your body however you want. There's no right or wrong, but just let it move a little bit, especially in your hips and in your head and neck, where there's, we build up tension, or in your toes where we get disconnected, or in your wrists and your fingers and your hands. You can push. Now take a really deep breath in through your nose and just hold your breath for a moment at the bottom of the inhalation. And as you hold the breath, soften your skin and your muscles, like 5%. And let all the energy channels in your body just start to arrive. And when you need to, you're going to exhale strongly out of your mouth. And you're just going to do that on your own 2 more times. So as a way of entering, you're going to take this deep inhalation, hold the breath. And as you hold it, let it be soft, like you are catching a butterfly with a net. Like not a constricted hold for now. It's just a deep breath in and then a hold, so you can actually soften just a little bit, 3%, 5% into this moment without pressure, without the need to get it right or be different than how you are to receive love. This is your birthright. This is who you are. There's nothing that you need to do to deserve it, despite what we've been sold and maybe what we've bought up until now. It's the dismantling of that. The idea that you have to be someone different to deserve the love that you already are. So on your own, taking these 3 breaths with a hold and then a strong exhalation out of your mouth. And then letting your breath be natural. going to begin doing an invocation to Lakshmi. Like I said, Lakshmi is the frequency of unconditional love, the oceanic frequency of everything that is sustaining. So you can imagine the part of you that's been there from before you were even born. Some part of you has been there all along as all these other parts have changed, have come and have gone, like the waves of the ocean coming and going. And then the oceanic floor, the bottom of the ocean, has always been there as everything is coming and going, right? So feeling maybe both of these truths of your being, right? The part that has been there all along and the part that is constantly changing and growing, even on that deepest level, like your consciousness that is growing and evolving spiritually as you perceive it through your own human experience and magnificence and suffering, for that matter. And I'll do this invocation and then I'll share the mantra with you that we're going to do together through some different energy places in the body. So you can just receive the invocation. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi Tano Lakshmi Prachodayata. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi Tano Lakshmi Prachodayata. Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe Vishnu Patni cha dhimahi Tano Lakshmi Prachodayata. And so for the next 10 minutes or so, let your focus, your dharana, your focus be on receiving. So whether you're receiving the weight of your body and the support that's below it, that's a really good orientation. Or you're receiving on a more subtle level, either way, just let this be a practice in receiving, in acknowledging the pleasure that is your birthright, the beauty and the worth and the love that is your birthright. The shadow of Lakshmi is greed and addiction and hoarding and lack, right? And these frequencies and this consciousness that is very predominant in our world and that many of us were brought up and raised around. And so we inherited this trauma in our own ways, everybody different. But there is this ancestral wisdom that comes alive when we learn how to access it. So begin here in a deeper way, again, just by feeling the weight of your body and noticing where your natural breath is moving. The mantra we're going to use is the mantra Shreem. So if you were to spell it, it's S-H-R-I-M or S-H-R-E-E-M. Shreem. You could say it out loud just to hear your own vibration and voice. Shreem. And you can choose to follow me if you can practice receiving while you're doing, which is a good practice. But you can also just lie here for 10 minutes and just like rest and just do nothing. So only you know what's going to benefit you more in terms of your practice right now. But just choose, and you can also change your mind. But we'll begin at the very crown of your head. So if you want to even place your hand there for a moment just to feel the weight, or when I do that, I can feel the coolness of my hand. It's very hot at the crown of my head right now. And just take a few breaths to connect. And the crown of your head all the way straight up into the sky, like 500 feet up into the sky, into the ethers. And let your breath be soft and subtle, and you're just going to let your breath carry and place the mantra Shreem right at the crown of your head. And like as if there was a flame on the top of your head, like a flame that's just dancing into space, into the ethers, very freely. And you could repeat the mantra in silence, Shreem, 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 and just feel the energy of Shreem invoke the blessings and the protection, that divine intervention, to use your words, that divine shielding, right? It's like this invocation, not just as a word, but as the energetics of the word, right? Sanskrit is a very old language, so it's almost like a symbol. It's a frequency. And you can relax your hand down if you want and just stay with the mantra a few times, but let it be like gentle, like you were kind of whispering the mantra, like it was a secret between the crown of your head and the energy there as a very tender place, and everything that exists beyond into the unseen. And any blocks, anything there that wants to just soften a little bit at a time. And then take that same breath on your own time, just draw it down into the middle of your brain. Like the base of that dancing fire was descending down into your third eye, your Anya chakra, or the middle of your brain. And you can feel your breath, you can feel it going, following the coolness of air through your nostrils into the space behind your eyebrows, into the space in the middle of your brain. And you can use the same mantra, Shreem. If you want to try it a few times, just either placing your hands over your ears or just placing your fingers on your third eye. If you want to have some physical touch is really important for embodiment because it's a deep human need. And the touch of spirit comes in these non-physical forms. But your body is a sacred being. It's alive. It's living. And so it transmits this energy as well. Shreem. Shreem. Letting the mind be bathed and washed in this vibration, letting your thoughts that also are consciousness be just purified with this vibration of Shreem, not because they're bad, but because there's something unknown that we crave in our mind, something beyond what we can conceive. That's a natural impulse of the soul. And just take a couple more breaths into that space in between your eyebrows. And And you can use your breath more actively or just let the breath go and just bring the mantra with your awareness to these places. It just depends. And then bring your hand to your lips and just let the mantra come into your mouth, your teeth, your tongue, your throat, your jaw, your lips. Shreem. Blessing your speech, blessing the words that you've taken in that were never yours to take in. Breaking those ties that happen through our language that are harmful. And again, it's not a puritanical purification. It's just like the sacredness of life itself as an energy, as your body, as your flesh and your muscle and your bones, as your ancestors, as the breath that breathed all of us into existence, as the womb that opened all of us into existence, this great mystery on your lips. Feel the energy of your own speech, what you say, what you don't say. And just naturally move your hands down to the sides of your neck or the back of your skull. So your hands are gently resting on the sides of your neck, and the same mantra, Shreem. Shreem. And let the mantra, as you repeat it, be like an exhale. See if you can play with doing and receiving at the same time. And then allowing your hands to move underneath your collarbones or to your sternum. Taking a breath down from your throat into the center of your chest, into your physical human heart on the left side of your body. And just let your breath and the mantra fill your chest, your breasts, your shoulder blades, your angel wings, the very center of the back of your heart, back through time. Like all of your ancestors, 7 generations back, could receive this blessing. Shreem. Inherent worth. Shreem. Fierce, protective love. And if you notice any images or emotions arise, these are the ways the body speaks. There's no problem. You can just acknowledge them and try to stay with the practice as we move down towards the solar plexus and your navel. Any physical sensations like nausea or I don't know, sometimes even a moment of physical pain or something like that, you can just allow your body to process it in this moment, to digest it. Tantra helps us digest our experiences, positive and negative, to really sink into the truth. What is the truth of your being in this moment? And let the mantra shreem go into your solar plexus. You can even gently bring your fingers and just gently massage where your ribs separate, that tender place. And if the touch doesn't feel good in this moment, because we didn't do a whole, sometimes we'll do a whole consent practice around it, but you can always just do energetic, or you can just focus in with your mind from the inside. But it might feel good, so just see what you notice for yourself and make your own choice. And bringing your hands to your belly, your navel. Shreem. That great umbilical cord that connects each of us to that divine mother. We all came from the divine mother. And so your hurt is not separate on the ultimate level from my hurt. And as you do the mantra here in your belly, just let any hurt, anything that just wants to be released into her ever present, infinite grace. Shreem. And let it be easeful. Like if you're used to everything being hard, just see what it's like to just enjoy your process of being an energetic portal for God's love, for being a vessel of fire, for being a vehicle for transformation. Like if everything's intense, what is it like to feel into the layers of ease that are also within you? To give the intensity a place to rest. And let the fire of your own digestion, your human digestion, your guts, be a base for this divine flame as it moves up through these spaces you've already connected to in your chest, your heart, your throat, your mouth, your third eye, your brain, crown of your head, up into the ethers. And you can let your hands rest to the front of your pelvis or womb. And let the mantra shreem sink in and down near your tailbone, your sacrum. And let your awareness now start to go down into the more fertile soil of the earth, the waters that push against the earth, the water in your pelvis, your womb. Shreem. And let the middle of your pelvis to your tailbone, to your sacrum, receive this blessing. Your body is a sacred home, a sanctuary for wisdom, for love, for appreciation, for acknowledgement of existence. Shreem. Shreem. And notice where there's a gripping and just let it soften 5%. You don't have to surrender everything at once unless you want to. Then you can throw everything into the fire. You can make that choice in this moment to just merge with your beloved, to hold nothing back. But you can also choose to hold and be in relationship to her and see what that's like, to sit close to the fire without becoming it. This is where a lot of relational healing and intimacy happens. And we need both. We need to be able to withstand sitting close to the fire, and we need to know what it's like to give everything over to it, to become it. To let the pressure go. And just for this last part here, just breathing down into your pelvic diaphragm, connecting to your root. Shreem. And if you want, you can just energetically cup around your sex organs or your vulva, or just bring your hands to the tops of your thighs. You can also physically cup your sex organs or vulva, but just make a choice that feels empowered and authentic to you in this moment. And just taking a few deeper breaths down into your root, your perineum. Letting your anus soften, your pelvic diaphragm expand and contract naturally with your breath. Just softening 3%. Between you and the goddess. The collective group energy is holding the space. But this is between you and the mother. And just give her anything that's in your womb, that's in your pelvis, that's connected to your root and your roots, your lineage, the blood that moves through your veins. Any healing that wants to happen, just give it to her. Tell her to take care of it so you don't have to. You can let your mouth open and just make a gentle sound. Let your pelvis rock a little forward and back or side to side. And keep receiving as you connect down into the earth. Feel the roots of your legs, your bones, your toes, your feet. And just let your lower half descend down into the fertility of the mother, the darkness, the dark womb, the great mystery, the portal between worlds where that dark mother carries our energy. She saves the parts of us that get lost and pulls us into the light of divine love. There's nothing too dark. There's nothing too scary. There's nothing too oppressed or abusive for her power to root and to create new life. So just feel your body pressing down into her. Imagine the roots of the trees underneath the soil and the mycelial energy coming up through your own body, your human body, regenerating, restoring justice from the inside. And feel the way that energy wants to just naturally, for the last part of this practice, it wants to come out and through you. It doesn't want to just stay inside. It wants to move out through you in this network of reciprocity, in this natural giving that isn't coming from lack. It's coming from the overflow of her grace. And just for a minute, just see if you can do nothing as it moves through you. Like you don't have to effort at all. In fact, the less you effort, the more it can flow. Just offering your gratitude, offering your grace back into her. And letting your eyes, if they're closed, just start to gently, gently flutter open and take in the light, take in what's surrounding your physical form. And let your arms and your legs start to move and just letting the effort come in, but on top of or inside of this natural movement of grace that wants to flow through you. And just let yourself look around and make sure you look all the way around, letting your head and your neck move and be mobile, coming back eventually into this space. And just taking a moment to reflect on what you're noticing. And just really acknowledge who you are. Remember your name. You can even say your name, your full name, out loud. And just remember the sacredness of that too. Of that contracted form of the divine that is who you are. That has a specific flavor of both wounding and wisdom. And just feel your own commitment to loving that one that needs your love. And without judging your experience, but just allowing yourself to be curious. What did you notice moving down through your body with this blessing? What, arose for you? What did you experience? And sometimes these experiences are very wordless, but when we allow ourselves to come into language and the Shakti, the energy of language, they also can become transmitters, imperfect transmitters in the same way we are, but transmitters nonetheless of our story and our experience and the ways that it matters who we are and what we know and what we don't know and what we're holding and what we're being held inside of. So we're going to close in just a few minutes, but I would love to just hear in the chat, or if a few people want to unmute, to just say in a distilled way anything that you noticed or experienced, or anything that you feel like you want to, share back into this space as a way to close the container. I would love to receive some of that, and then we'll head off and we'll see you next time.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. As soon as we started, it was quite physical, and I had like a twitch or a pain. It turned into a pain in my lower abdomen. And then as if it got released through my feet. I don't know. It kind of something. It felt really weird. But it's yeah, it was sudden, and then suddenly it was gone. But it was right in the beginning, as soon as we started.
Yeah. And it was a physical, was there an image that is, or is there an image that's coming to your mind now that's connected to it? Because it sounds like it was a physical kind of, energetic movement, which felt weird, which makes sense. And also that happens, when we're receiving healing. Is there an image that is coming to your mind now?
Well, it sound well to me. What I would connect now is just before we started, I was thinking of my grandmother who passed, and she liked to tease and pull the toes, so she might have been around.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you. Amira, is that how I say your name or? Okay, thank you, Amira. Beautiful. I love that. And I love receiving your grandmother's yeah, transmission and the meaning, right? Because the body speaks in meaning. So it's beautiful that you brought that in. What else? Just a couple more just to kind of bring us and voice is great. I see some things in the chat. I'll read. Alex said, I received a very empowering and beautiful image of me kneeling and had 7 pairs of wings shooting behind me. Beautiful. Merrick said it was beautiful to move through the portal of this experience, delightfully disorienting and yet truly reorienting. Makes sense. Thank you, Merrick. Mm. Thank you, Jane. Jane said the not efforting. Yeah, it was powerful. I'm still feeling it. Yeah. I feel it too. It feels very strong in the field of just like, what is it? Yeah. What is it? What is the not efforting while still showing up, that isn't the collapse or the avoidance. That's a big question, I think, that we're holding definitely in this community and definitely I am always. And just in a general sense, how do we take action while we're continually learning how to align with what those deeper truths are and that it's already enough, yeah. And the many forms that rest takes, you know what I mean? It's so powerful. So Brittany said, I was really feeling doing the meditation in front of the mirror. It was empowering and I could feel the lips part and the words I've taken in that weren't mine. Also, when we got to the pelvic bowl root, I also felt the neck jaw connection. Yes, Brittany, thank you. Molly said, being with myself in this way is so sensual and satisfying and full of wisdom. Beautiful. Elena, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. You can correct me.
Ilana.
Ilana, thank you. Feeling an energy moving through and some heaviness, slowness in the body nervous system. Beautiful. Thank you, Ilana. All right, friends, I'm also going to head out for now. Oh, I'll read Heather's. Such a sacred softening, calling in many ancestors of light, felt emotional but deep grounding, the reminding of receiving and accepting the blessing of divine presence. My hands moving over my body, held in such love in this prayer and practice. Deep gratitude. Yes, thank you. So may this blessing continue to unfold. And yeah, we're always here for you at Body Temple. If you want to, come deeper into the community, I always offer these little free offerings here and there, mostly out of my own inspiration, which is why they tend to be kind of last minute.
Oh
Because
my goodness, thank you so much. You healed so much of my endometriosis scar tissue. I have a lot of endometriosis scar tissue. Thank you so much. My endometriosis was so painful before you helped me. Thank
thank
you
you.
so, so much. I've been so terrified of childbirth, but you're helping me to get past that trauma. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. And I will say that showing up in the space and just receiving and the courage that it takes to do that, is what's doing the work. And yeah, we've definitely worked with a lot of people with endometriosis. It's quite common, actually. And there are many different ways, to work with it. But
How do I have it if I've never had children and I'm on birth control to stop my periods? It hurts so bad. Please, ma'am. You helped me so much. Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, it's really intense. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just, your energy is very joyful to receive. That's why I'm laughing. But it is very intense, and it's definitely not a laughing matter. I've never experienced it personally, but I've worked with people. I wish some of them were here right now because I would private message them and ask them to message you. But yeah, just, keep doing what you can to give back to yourself. I think that that's a big movement in that
Well,
particular.
I didn't know how much scar tissue I had until you helped me. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. That was such a relief. My angels helped me so much. Thank you.
Good. Yes. Blessings to you and your womb for sure. Yeah. And, there's different ways that we do and work with the womb. And there's many layers to the work in terms of, our wombs. And it's just, there's so much there for us, in terms of healing and a lot of what a lot of you came to do, is to do this work in the womb. So, yeah, so please just reach out if any of you feel like you want more support or want more, guidance or a direction to move in. I'm always available to.
Well, I thought that was going to hurt, but you made that psychic surgery very pleasant. Thank you. I really thought it was going to hurt. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the piece, right? I think a lot of what we're carrying inside, sometimes it is a result of being hurt or being harmed in some ways. And, the actual freedom from it, sometimes there's some pain involved, but sometimes it's so much more pleasant and easeful because that's also, the deeper truth of what we carry inside. So, yeah, thank you for sharing. Thanks for hopping in there. Definitely welcomed. Okay. Yes, and thank you, Rochelle, is also saying has had that journey. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people in our community, really, that and people I've worked with endometriosis. It's very intense and very painful. I mean, very, very,
Oh
very.
my goodness. Thank you so much for taking me. You took so much scar tissue away with the angels. Thank you so much. I did not know how bad I was. Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Yeah,
I could never get this here in North Carolina. I could never get this here. So thank you so much. That was priceless.
you're welcome. And I'm sure. I mean, I don't know anybody in North Carolina, but there's got to be some people in our community that are nearby. So if you send me an email and I think of anyone, I'll send them your way so you can maybe connect. And this is the beauty of being online too, I'll say, right? We can gather from all over the world, and I'm really grateful for that. Okay, thank you, Chrissy, and thank you, Savannah. I just want to name who's sharing here, and Rochelle. Okay, all right, everyone, gotta go. Thank you, Tanya. You can unmute to say bye, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for coming. The group healing.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.